William H. Macy has that line about these TVs don't watch you back. There's obviously, we're all very aware that our smartphones and laptops are listening to us, and TVs are going that way as well. The idea in the movie is that we thought like everybody has a state mandated 65-inch plasma.
Hello, and welcome back to The Director's Cut, brought to you by the Directors Guild of America. In this episode, a man competes in a game show that could mean life or death in director Edgar Wright's sci-fi action film, The Running Man. The film tells the story of Ben Richards, a working-class man in a near-future society who is convinced to enter the popular and deadly television show The Running Man as a last resort to escape poverty. But as the show hunts him down, Ben's defiance, instincts, and grit turn him into a fan favorite and a threat to the entire system, as he must outwit not just the game's hunters, but a nation addicted to watching him fall. In addition to The Running Man, Wright's other directorial credits include the feature films Last Night in Soho, Baby Driver, The World's End, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Hot Fuzz, and Shaun of the Dead, and episodes of the series Spaced. Following a screening of the film at the DGA Theater in Los Angeles, Wright spoke with director Daniel Scheinert about filming The Running Man. Listen on for their spoiler-filled conversation.
Hello. Thanks for coming.
Hello, everybody. Hey, thanks for inviting me. This is exciting. Edgar's one of my all-time favorite filmmakers, but you're also so nice and easy to talk to. So I'm not too nervous, but this
like
can be
blinding lights. I feel like I'm on the show. It's kind of a bit. I feel like I'm being interrogated.
This is very meta. We were just talking backstage. The film itself is kind of meta. You've been running for 12 months making this. Can you talk a bit about what that was like?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy that we only started filming this in November last year. So it was actually started filming on the 3rd of November 2024 and finished filming at the end of March. And then the fact that it's all done and it's out is kind of just insane. And it's something, it's like, because it's kind of my sort of biggest, most complicated movie, but also from like the start of shooting to it coming out, also the shortest time, which, and I think in a weird way, it's starting to kind of feel like that reflected the show itself. Like one of the most ambitious things about it was the amount of location work. And because in the original novel, Ben Richards is on the run out in the world. That was one of the things from the original novel that I really wanted to bring to the screen. So, there's that road movie element to it. But of course, to do that means like shooting in so many different locations. And so, like so many production moves a day.
You said like 160 locations? Something like that?
It's something insane because it's not just Ben Richards' story, it's all of the other bits as well. Like there's obviously Glenn's story, but then you have the other contestants, you have the adverts, you have the other shows, the reality show or the game show, the bit where the Apostle tapes where you see clips of previous contestants. We had to shoot all those bits. And sometimes they'd be on like days where we'd be doing tons of those strips. And sometimes it would be, we're shooting a scene with Glenn, and then we're going to go off and shoot this guy exploding himself outside of a strip club.
Yeah.
So it would be a thing, I think, that you'd start to feel like you were on the game show doing the movie but the thing is, as a director, you set the level of ambition yourself with the screenplay. So you can't blame anybody else.
You signed up for The Running Man.
Well, I mean, I co-wrote the screenplay, so it's that thing where you can't stand there going like, whose idea was this? It was my idea. Why do I make it so complicated for myself?
Was there a day where you felt like that? Where you were like
every day.
Okay, the whole time.
No, I mean, listen, I'm really proud of it. I mean, I actually like, I mean, I'll say this as well. And like, because of that schedule, like actually a director friend of mine that came to see it in Canada was kind of just completely agog watching the movie because he'd remembered like less than 18 months ago that I had met him and I actually had like coffee with at Mel's Diner. And I said, oh, I think this Running Man film might happen. This was like 18 months ago. And so he sort of said, he goes, I just don't understand. It's like, it's done. How did you do it? You know, and I will say this is like, there's no way to get through this movie without working with people that you've worked with before. So with a couple of exceptions in some departments like costume and makeup and stunts, but second unit, Darren Prescott, who did Baby Driver, did this as well. But other than that, everybody who's worked on previous movies, and that obviously, and that shorthand and being able to literally and figuratively hit the ground running to get the movie going, like, was huge. You know, like you know, as soon as we got the script done, we was doing boards for the big sequences. The VFX people are involved. Andrew Whitehurst, I'd never worked with ILM before, but Andrew Whitehurst, the supervisor, had worked on Scott Pilgrim, so I knew him. So it's just like, you know, like just you out there looking for locations like straight away and just kind of prepping, and it was an enormous amount of work, but just an incredible crew, and that's the only way to get through it, you know.
Yeah. You mentioned second unit. Do you have any like tips? What's your favorite way to use that as a tool as a director? I haven't done it much, and I'm trying to wrap my head around the right way to do it.
I think it's really about strategizing the best use of your time. I think there are stunts which could take half the day to set up, and also things that, like, Darren's brilliant, like and it would be the things I would trust him with, because it was the same on Baby Driver. There's some things, if they don't involve the main actors and they're, you know, like that big explosion, like that's kind of like half the day to do that shot. Now, obviously,
do you get jealous?
Well, I mean,
that's my thing is like, if the second unit's going to do the fun stuff.
Yes and no. I mean, usually what it will be is I'll be nearby. Yeah. And it's like, I'm going to go off and shoot this other scene. Let me know when it's going to go boom.
Right. Okay, great.
So I'll come back.
Yeah, that's what I would want.
Oh no, when that explosion happened, all work stopped on the other unit and we all went to watch. It was like, you know, no, but those are the things. I think it's like strategizing. It's like on a main unit day when you've got kind of lots to do with the main actors, is like you can't afford, literally can't afford to kind of like do a shot that's going to take 3 or 4 hours to set up. So that's the great thing, that those, and also they're the experts. It's like some of those stunts that even if you're there when they're setting up or you're shooting something else, or even if it's on, you know, we'd be shooting round the clock all weekdays. So I would, if a second unit was shooting on a Saturday or a Sunday, I would usually come in and just kind of, you know, be around. But they also, it's like just, and also I think that the big thing is just that we've developed it all together. So the action sequences, it's like the script, the storyboards, then an animatic. I don't really like computer previs that much. There was only like one in the whole thing. I'm not a big fan of those. So
what's the difference? So an animatic looks like what?
Just storyboards.
Just the boards.
Just storyboards,
okay,
cut
cool.
to music, you know, just to kind of get the snap of it. I don't really like the kind of the previous one so much.
I did one of those on a project, and it was when I watched it back, it was the single worst piece of filmmaking I was ever involved in. Just watching like bad graphics, something about it, I was like, oh, this is demoralizing.
It's something strange about it. I can't put my finger on it either. I mean, it definitely works. I think the best thing for like CG previs things, if there's some spatial element to it,
right? As
in you need to figure it out because of the
car stunts, or like, I mean, I want to know exactly how to not kill someone.
I mean, usually with those things and with action as well, what it is like you can write it and you can draw it, but then there's a point where like the physics of the human body comes into it. And that's where stunts would come in, and you'd start filming it, because it's like, you know, you can draw something like a kind of comic book and stuff, but yet you have to think about how bodies move. And then also because Glenn is the center of every scene, like how much can he do? He wants to do as much as possible. We'd like him to do as much as possible that's safe, to actually design the shots around that. So then you're getting into stuff where the whole plan of it is to kind of do these elongated sequences where you can have him at the center of it all. Like that shot where he's running down the hallway into the elevator is a good example of that. It's like, and you're on a show. It's a TV show where there are these rover drones filming the entire time. And so so you've got an option to go from the movie coverage to the TV coverage, but then also that they would be unbroken takes as much as possible. So it's all, but I like that development process because you can really get to see kind of how it would work as a sequence. And then you're always adding storytelling touches, and there are things both on the day and even after the fact where you've shot something and you say, oh, we really need like a close up of that hand on that gun and stuff. So it's all continues to be boarded. You're still working on that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that's the bit where I think also a big thing for me as well, which I know is, I believe in like total transparency with all departments. It's just show everybody everything. Because I think you get better results out of the crew if they all feel like they're part of the process.
Yeah.
I think some people don't always do that. And I always think it's kind of like, it's a false economy, because if everybody's seen the storyboards and everybody has a really good idea about what we're trying to achieve on any given day, they feel invested in it more.
That makes sense. The only time I want to withhold is if I'm not sure. I don't want them to think I know for sure yet, But yeah, once you know, it makes sense.
Well, I think the thing as well is like, you never stop being a student. And I think the thing that you realize is it's okay to not know the answer. Mm-hmm. And like sort of, I think one of the sequence also, because of the nature of the schedule, so much of the film was always like shooting a full day of work and having a meeting before work about a different scene coming up, and having a second meeting at the end of the day about another meeting sequence coming up. So my vision of the shoot was always like, hey, we have this big fight scene, but we're going to meet at 6 a.m. with a coffee and we're going to talk about the basement scene. And so it's this thing where it's not just the thing that you're doing, it's the thing that's coming up next. And obviously totally. in a movie like this with so many set pieces, sometimes it's not like there's like the quiet scene to sort of buffer the two. It's like set piece into set piece into set piece.
Yeah.
And I think in some cases it works like, I think sort of Glenn, I really think Glenn's performance in it is fantastic. And part of the thing is he's just sort of totally invested in being there and wants it to feel like he's really going through it,
Yeah, you feel that he's committed.
He was kind of like, I can't say enough nice things about him, and like, and I'm sure directors in the room, you'll understand that to people outside the business, these would seem like minimum requirements of an actor. Is like, what's the best you can hope for from a star? Is like, they want it to be as good as you do. Mm-hmm. They want to be there.
Yeah.
They're on time and they're going to give it like 200%. And then as a bonus, because he's a very well brought up Texan, he remembers every single crew member's name.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Which is good. He puts me to shame, in fact. So I'm like, God damn it, Glenn. Can you stop being so nice? You make me look awful.
I had that with Dan Radcliffe. He made me look mean by comparison.
It's okay to be shown up.
Yeah. And it's a good problem. To everybody competing to be nicer is a good problem on set.
That is a good problem to have.
It felt like you were committed to doing a lot practically, like the stunts and explosions. And is that the case? Were there things that were big priorities to you to be like, I want a real fireball here. I really care like strongly about stuntmen here versus actors here.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's something it's VFX shouldn't be like a crutch. VFX should be to kind of make something that's already good look better. And I think what's kind of happened is there's a sort of a certain laziness that's crept into filmmaking where people just use VFX. And I think it's a false economy. I think you can shoot this stuff for real and it'll end up being cheaper than doing it with digital effects in the long run if it's good. And there's so many great people who still work in physical effects and stunts, and it's like they're all out there. Like they read the script, the kind of physical effects department, and they're like, "Oh, this is like Christmas for us. Let's go."
Yeah.
So I think it's what I think's really what we really try to do, and ILM were really great. Is like make sure that there's always some element of real photography in the shot, even if there are extensions. And it's actually I thought. the work that Gareth Edwards did on The Creator was really good, where they shot location footage and then expanded on it. And we shot a lot of the stuff that's in the sort of the future dystopias is that we've used the location and we've dressed the ground floor of something. And then as it goes into the heavens and becomes kind of like, you know, dystopian Escher nightmare, that's where ILM are doing all of their wizardry.
Yeah.
Like the building that he goes to, the network building that he walks to at the start of the film is actually Wembley Stadium.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's just the stadium is gone.
Yeah.
It's just funny to shoot in one of London's most famous exteriors and take out the bit that's famous.
Yeah.
So no Wembley Stadium. If it looked vaguely familiar, that's why.
That's great. Do you have something against Wembley Stadium? You're just like, I'm going to turn you into this dystopian thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not that big a football fan, so maybe that's it.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. You're like, I wish something else was right here.
We were doing this Q&A in London. People start booing at this point. Boo!
Boo!
How dare you?
Oh no! Cut this part out.
Don't put this bit out in the UK. I'll be hung, drawn, and quartered.
I absolutely loved the Michael Cera sequence. What was it? Is that in the book?
No, not quite. No, the character is, and the character is, and also the mother is. But there's a few things that are different. I mean, he does help Ben escape, and it's like a sort of a running battle with the police. But it was actually Michael Bacall's idea to have this idea that he has a grudge against the goons. Yeah. And then we added the thing later that his dad was a cop. It's like the one good cop in the whole movie is like his dad, and so he has a personal grudge. Yeah. So there were some things that kind of like we sort of took the ball and ran with it from what was in the book. But I think once we'd had the idea in the book, the mum presses the button, and then it was actually a great studio note that they sort of said that they wanted like there to be a betrayal, and I didn't want to make Elton a baddie. I didn't want to make him one of the baddies. I figured, well, he doesn't have to be a baddie, but he could be a liability. So that's where the idea of like him pushing the button came from.
Yeah, to just have someone want violence.
He wants his bit of fun. He goes, I've got. Also, he's kind of, I think he's house proud. He's got all of these traps, and he'd be bummed if they just left. Yeah. And it's like, but I've got all these traps ready to go. Can't I set them all off? Yeah. in the 5 minutes we have before the hunters show up.
I can like endlessly watch Home Alone style sequences in films.
My pitch was, and these are two films that have never been mentioned together before, Home Alone meets Straw Dogs.
Yeah.
Which is not something you take to a studio as a pitch for a film.
Why not?
Two great tastes that go together.
Yeah. What was it like working together again? Like instantly familiar, or he's an asshole now?
No.
He's changed.
He's always been the best. He's such it was really actually quite emotional reunion in a great way, because we made that film 15 years ago. He turned 21 on the set of Scott Pilgrim.
Wow.
And now he's like a father of two. And actually a lot of people on the movie worked on Scott Pilgrim, including my co-writer Michael Bacall and my editor and production designer like Paul and Marcus. So it was a nice little reunion. He's amazing. He's such a great actor. And he's so I think also just like seeing him just branch out and just, do what he wants to do. I just think sort of audiences love him. He's amazing.
Yeah, he keeps stealing the show this year.
I know he's amazing in the Phoenician
scheme. Well. He's incrable. Yeah. I had a blast. Yeah.
Big year for Michael Cera fans.
Yeah, go Michael Cera. You guys should check this kid out. He's got a lot of promise. I was curious, are there dystopian details that are like especially yours? Like the things you're most scared of happening that you added in the writing process? Or were you pulling heavily from the book? Or this is my way of asking, what are you scared of? Where are we headed?
Well, I think there is something, I guess, that's in there that I'm definitely aware of. There's that phrase that I've heard people use called the enshittening, which is basically that all things that used to work don't work as well as they did. Like even just the internet itself and every sort of app that's supposed to make life easier has got worse. Yeah. And just kind of clogged and just doesn't work properly anymore. And it's this thing where technology seems to be going forward and backwards at the same time.
Yeah. Was this your note to the like production designer? Like, this is the enshittening.
That was, I mean, what the idea was, I mean, the book was published in 1982. It was written in 1973. For those of you who don't know, Stephen King set the book in the year 2025. For real. The cover of the first edition of the paperback has this log line that says, "Welcome to America in the year 2025, where the best men don't run for president, they run for their lives. The Running Man." That's the cover of the book.
It still works.
The thing that's in the book, which is, we did what we wanted to do was make it retro futuristic so that it felt both like as if the book was published in 82. So what if this was like Stephen King's idea of 2025 from 1982? So it has that retro futuristic feel to it. I really love like in Terry Gilliam's Brazil, which is 1985 film, future dystopia, but it's got that 1940s styling.
Totally.
It's got the styling of the period when George Orwell first published 1984. And they never have to explain it in the movie. It's just what it is. So with a similar thing in mind, we thought, well, why don't the book has all this analog technology in it, the tapes, the cameras, the zines, and it's like the envelopes, the mailboxes. The obvious thing would be to update it all and make it all smartphones. But I just think smartphones in films are so boring that the more you can just not, I mean, there's some in there, but not many. But I just thought, let's just keep all of the analog technology. And because lots of analog technology has become exoticized recently.
Yeah.
Right. Everything, not just vinyl, but like VHS tapes, audio tapes, CDs and jewel cases.
Coal stoves.
Yeah. But like zines, they're just like, it's like there is, it's also a thing where people are scared. Well, what you're scared of is, William H. Macy has that line about these TVs don't watch you back. There's obviously, we're all very aware that our smartphones and laptops are listening to us, that we're not, and TVs are going that way as well. The idea in the movie is that we thought like everybody has a state mandated 65-inch plasma.
Yeah.
Like everybody has a good TV, but it's also that TV is picking up, that TV is watching you.
A state mandated good TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
exactly.
feel like that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah. I should say it's actually funny that Freevee that's in the film, Amazon had that paid, no, it wasn't paid. It was the free one with the ads called Freevee.
Yeah.
It is exactly the same spelling in the Stephen King book.
Yeah.
Exactly the same with the sort of uppercase F and V. So actually there was a point in the process, the studio at one point said, we can't clear Freevee because Amazon, it's an Amazon service. I said, but Stephen King coined it in the book, so Stephen King could sue them. Anyway, they just let us have it. So it was like, but I think that's the thing.
Everyone was like, that's a wash.
That's it. So it stays. But to answer your question, that's what scares me is I'm sure like a lot of people is this feeling that like we've just become so addicted to our computers and phones and like the algorithm is running everything. And so that's the thing that's kind of scary to me. And so I like this thing where like, that line that William H. Macy has about the TVs that don't watch you back, I kind of think, yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, totally. That's such an interesting tidbit that it wiped my brain of the thing I was just about to say. It was going to be so interesting. It'll come back to me. It really wiped my brain. That's so fun.
The algorithm.
The algorithm is happening. Oh, I was thinking about dystopian thoughts, which is a great way to get my brain fried. Oh, I know what it was now. Great. I just had to like talk out loud for a sec. Thanks, everybody. Keep this part in the podcast. I was thinking about you. I remember you mentioning, I think at the screening I saw that like even the fake news of it all was in the books. At least some, like the doctored footage and the fact that like what he says gets changed on TV.
Yeah. There's a scene in the book where he makes a tape and then what goes out has been re-edited, so he says something else. And that was, he wrote that in 1973. So, obviously that's something where it's like when we started working on the script in early 22 and, went into production last year. And there's a point where the news is catching up with you so fast on an hourly basis that the line between science fiction and fact as like a bleeding edge at a certain point.
Yeah.
I think that was good in a way. It actually sort of, that's one of the reasons we didn't put a year on the film, is I think it's maybe unwise to kind of put a year on a sci-fi film, because you can never kind of kick it down the road far enough.
Yeah. I think you just spoiled it though. It's 2025.
Yes. Well, I actually feel really, even though it was an ambitious kind of schedule, the fact that it is out in the final weeks of 2025 is pretty sweet.
Yeah. I love it.
So yeah.
Yeah. But that part felt obviously prescient, and like, the fake news and AI doctored footage and of today felt like one of the most interesting, stressful parts of the film. Like
also how fast it is. It's kind of almost in real time.
Yeah. Like by the end of the film, he doesn't know what's real, and I didn't either. And I was getting stressed out in a way that the internet makes me stressed out these days.
Well, I like in Glenn's performance when he starts to sort of just lean into being the person that they want him to be.
Yeah.
He starts kind of playing up to his kind of like the sort of the infamy that's on TV. But I do like as well that Josh Brolin has the line where even he admits that they can't fake the whole thing.
Yeah.
He has that line when he says,
Windows,
if you can fake everything, why don't you fake the whole show? And Brolin says, he goes, believe me, we've tried, but we live for those, the humans are so unpredictable. We live for those happy accidents. Yeah. So even he, the sort of villainous exec, acknowledges that you can't just fake the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll always have real people in movies, so we can just get those little farts that you can't fake.
Well, it's up to us, isn't it? We have to employ humans.
Yeah. Okay, so your movie's a pretty dystopian and makes me think a lot of dystopian thoughts. Do you have any utopian thoughts? Like, what's your parallel film about a really great retro future? What would your favorite Running Man future look like?
Oh my God, that's a good question. I haven't had to answer that. I don't know.
Just movie theaters are full of people.
Oh yeah,
everybody's just buying tickets to watch movies made by people.
I've actually had this fantasy. If I had kind of like sort of big sort of fuck you Jeff Bezos money, I would just go round restoring old movie theaters.
Yeah.
That would be it. Quentin's essentially done that twice.
Yeah, he's doing it.
Give it up for Quentin Tarantino for doing that. I would do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Okay, I have another creative question instead of just about your movie. I find it so interesting. I don't know the whole backstory of why he wrote it under a pseudonym.
Yeah,
you do.
I can tell you, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. We were just talking about Prince backstage. It's not a dissimilar thing, actually. Is that I think his publisher said that he should only do one book a year, and so it was a twofold. He had these other books that he wanted to release, and also because the Richard Bachman books, the ones he published under the pseudonym, were not horror. They were different. They were either dystopian fiction or they were even just kind of like sort of social dramas. They weren't in the horror genre. So he wanted to just prove to himself that he could have success outside the Stephen King brand. But then he got rumbled. I think the reason that it got rumbled by one person, I forget if it was in a publisher's house or a bookshop, kind of made the connection. And it's because in The Running Man, the novel, he mentions Derry, which is his fictional town that's in the Stephen King books. Yeah. So one person kind of said, I think Richard Bachman's Stephen King.
Yeah.
And wrote a letter to him, and he gave up the pseudonym because he got found out.
Oh, wow.
And then he wrote that great obituary where he said that Richard Bachman died of cancer of the pseudonym.
A brutal affliction.
R.I.P. Richard Bachman.
But we were talking about how, like, you have a brand of sorts that people are familiar with, and you didn't do some of the things that people are like, what, where's all the whip pans? And it's so exciting to see you like try to really dig into a different genre. If you could just make up a pseudonym, but still get your movies greenlit, is there something that you would just love to make under your Richard Bachman? But also, what would your pseudonym be?
Oh my God. Edgar Wrong, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, Quan and
But then
I
they'd
talk
be
about,
all like, those films would all be really disreputable.
Yeah.
Be like making Herschel Gordon Lewis and Russ Meyer films under that title.
Yeah, great.
And having a great time.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I did want to, it's like a gift to kind of have, I mean, it's funny, because some people have sort of said, oh, you don't do some of the same signature sort of camera moves and stuff. But it's like, I like challenging myself. And like I said, I never feel like I know everything. You always want to go into a new project with something that sort of terrifies you, that challenges you. And also I really just wanted to make, I mean, a lot of the times I'm sort of making the movies that I miss. And I feel like we were sort of kind of spoiled in the 80s and 90s where it felt like you would get a good sci-fi action film every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then there's kind of been just like a dearth of them. So I think probably in respect to that, I mean, also I just like kind of wanted to sort of just push the visual storytelling in a different direction. And having worked with Chung Hoon, the cinematographer on the last film, I loved working with him. And it was something where I just wanted to kind of like do something that was more like, suspense action. And so some of those stylistic tics didn't fit. And also it just felt like I'd be just kind of repeating myself. So I like having the opportunity to do something different.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so excited to see what's next. I want you to keep challenging yourself and scaring yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. What would be the scariest genre? Just an Edgar Wright period drama? I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I think that's the thing is like, it's like, it is also really nice to work in different genres because I think, as I'm sure you all know, is that these films take so long to make, even this one in its way, is that your appetite changes as soon as you've done it. Like,
yeah.
I always remember like when we did Shaun of the Dead, me and Simon went to do a cameo in George Romero's Land of the Dead as zombies. And we had coffee with the great George Romero. And he said, what are you guys doing next? And I said, oh, we're actually working on this cop movie. And he goes, so not a horror movie? And I went, no. And he goes, oh, so you're getting out. And it really stuck with me that he said that. I mean, and George Romero is a master, but it was interesting. I'm sure there was a part of George Romero where like there were other things that he wanted to do, but kind of he had a brand that was always linked to one genre.
Yeah.
So I do feel very fortunate that I've had a chance to do films in different genres because I think there are some filmmakers that's the film that they can get made or that's what people expect of them. So having a chance to defy expectations is something that I don't take for granted at all.
Yeah, I would love it if financiers let more filmmakers do that. Like try something brand new instead of stay in their lane.
It'd be good if you had a trailer though, and it'd say "From the Master of Terror," and then it's just a period romance.
Yeah, rock and roll. That'd be great.
It's like "Room with a View from the Master of Horror."
Yeah, I want to see this. Okay, my last question I like to ask people lately is like, is there like an MVP crew member that doesn't come up in press interviews or Q&As that you'd love to like shout out and say why this person was invaluable this time around?
Oh my God, that's such a good question. I tell you somebody I haven't mentioned in anything, so I think I've mentioned most crew members. Our assistant editor, Alicia McCormack, who kind of worked even longer hours than me and Paul did.
Yeah.
And so I kind of, whenever I'd see her, because she'd always be there before me and leaving after me, and I was already doing a 16-hour day. So whenever I would see her, I'd say, hardest working lady in show business.
Oh my God.
So this is my shout out to my assistant editor, our assistant editor, Alicia McCormack, and her team.
Yeah, rock and roll. Okay, that's our time. Thank you guys so much for coming out, and thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you
on this
so much, everybody. That was really fun. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thanks for listening to another DGA Q&A. The Director's Cut is available wherever you listen to podcasts. And please share, subscribe, rate, and review. We'd love to hear your feedback, and you can help fellow film buffs find the show. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time. This podcast is produced by the Directors Guild of America.